How are you doing, brothers and sisters? It's been a little while. I'm Michelle, and I'm going to be reading from this book. Here in this book, there are 101 proofs for the existence of God, for the absolute existence of God. It was written by a very dear friend, and his name is Jim Stevens. This book is an encapsulation of all these different stories and inspirations, I believe, from God that he put together over 6 years. So now we're going to be reading a really incredible one. It's called Practice Makes Perfect, and this is the proof of God, number 38. So let's get started. From the time that we were little children, we have heard the axiom that practice makes perfect. We all know the meaning of it, namely that just about anything in life that is worth doing or learning takes practice. You don't get it right the first time. From potty training to learning to walk, to brushing your teeth, to kindergarten, to playing a sport, playing a musical instrument, getting a job, making a pizza, to cooking your dinner, to about everything else. It takes practice to get it right. Do you find anyone out there advocating it takes an accident to make perfect? When you get right down to the bottom line, that's what atheists believe. Life itself was an accident. For each higher level of species, there were more accidents, or called mutations, followed by some process of survival of the fittest. They must believe the Big Bang was an accident of some kind. The appearance of life from non-living chemicals was an accident. Most atheists will admit that random mutation cannot generate successful changes for producing evolution, so they will add in natural selection as the cure-all because it magically adds a positive directedness. But as I detailed in a previous chapter, proof for God, number 35, natural selection is never the source of new information. It only acts on what exists already, which can be inherited. No new information comes from it. If mutation does not work and natural selection does not work, then adding them together or multiplying them will not work. Practice makes perfect obviously means good practice, not bad practice. Bad practice added to bad practice makes a worse result. You and I might be able to conceive of one or two accidents that happen to go right, but millions upon billions upon trillions of accidents that go right is not conceivable. Michael Jordan made 49.69% of his shots in his career by practicing a lot, not by accident. Can you imagine? Almost half of the shots he made in his career were right. Like, they made it. That's totally amazing. The number one hitter of all time in baseball, Ty Cobb, hit successfully 36.6% of the time in his career by practicing a lot, not by accident. Nobody is any good at anything complicated by accident. People who decide to be atheists have concluded that all the incredible complexity from the biochemical level up to the intergalactic level, including all the flowers, the fish, the birds, the trees, the animals, exist by accident, followed by reproductive selectivity followed by another accident, followed by more selectivity, on and on to the millionth degree. I believe that atheists start out with a decision that there is no God, and then proceed to conjure up a way that this observable world might have come about. Then they believe in that. They don't start with the observable data known to science today and propose a theory. They start with the assumption that there is no God and a theory from 154 years ago. Conclusions and theories should come after analysis of data, not the other way around. Many examples of people falsifying the data on both sides, admittedly, unfortunately, exist in the scientific fields. Also, many advances in science have proven previous theories were false. But the old truths were slow to die because those who believed in them could not give them up. We have to be careful who we bow down to as our authorities. Darwin thought a cell was mostly an uncomplicated mass of protoplasm. That's far, far distant from what biochemists know today, since the electron microscope was invented. Even Albert Einstein admitted he fudged the data when it led him to the conclusion that the universe was expanding. That would have meant the universe must have had a beginning at a certain point in time, which would clearly imply a creator. Later, when the research of others like Hubble also concluded the universe was expanding, Einstein admitted his falsification. And he called it his biggest blunder, or maybe his biggest lie. Science is clearly closing in on atheists and making it harder and harder to sustain their beliefs. Dr. Paul Zulainer, Dean of Vienna University's Divinity School and one of the world's most distinguished sociologists of religion, has said that atheists in Europe have become an infinitely small group. There are not enough of them even to be used for sociological research. Also, John Updike's observation: among the repulsions of atheism for me has been its drastic uninterestingness as an intellectual position. Appears to have become common currency throughout much of the West. Or he's saying this seems to be the more common thought that is happening in the West. And if you think it is challenging to be a Catholic parent, try being an atheist parent. Some 70% of Americans raised to believe that God does not exist end up being a member of a religion as an adult. That is the worst retention rate of any faith. Real scientists go where the evidence leads. They don't cling to unverifiable dogma. The truth about God and evolution will not be suppressed for much longer in science. So, Jim says that there must be God. Okay, Jim. So then, we're gonna have a little bit of a celebration here. Let's celebrate. Do the gritty. Thank you, everybody. See you later. Bye.